Well, it has been just a little bit since I've been on here, and there are so many reasons to not film. And I have probably found every single reason in these last several months. And that's no excuse. I have been extremely busy with other things, other projects. And like I've said from the beginning, this isn't a full-time thing for me, not something that I'm going to put a ton of time and attention to, especially when life gets busy. I have other things to do, and yet I still want to keep up with this. I don't want it to become one of those things where I did it for a little while and then it just disappears. So this is my attempt of trying to put something out there, and I have a ton of ideas. It's just the motivation to get them done and to put them on video, knowing the whole process, getting the shots, getting the edits, finding the music, being creative, all of those things really can be overwhelming for me. And I guess that's really what I want to talk about in today's video: motivation. Motivation is such an interesting thing because it really is the catalyst, obviously, to get things done. To be productive, to set out to accomplish goals. All of those things mandate and need motivation, because without it, I think the stuff that we desire to get done or the things that we hope to accomplish really just fall to the wayside. Now, as a disclaimer, I am not one to be talking about the proper motivation for life. I've probably lacked motivation in many ways. I've gotten better as I've matured. I've found what's worked for me and what motivates me. But as far as just having natural motivation, really being goal-driven, really, type A, I'm not that. So this video is less about how to use proper motivation for all that you do, but more talking about what can motivate you and things to perhaps consider when you are creating goals or projects, or you want to accomplish things in life. Maybe some things to consider if motivation is sometimes a struggle for you. All right, so motivation. Boy, I have a lot of thoughts on motivation, and I think the first one is to recognize your abilities and your resources clearly, and then set goals accordingly. I think this helps your motivation. It helps you stay motivated when you are operating within the scope of your abilities and your resources and all of those type of things. I just know for myself, as far back as when I was a kid, I'd have these big ideas, to build a huge fort, or to one time I wanted to create this whole worm farm business. I had this big concept, and yet I didn't have the resources or the time or the understanding to really accomplish that. And yet I wanted to try. And of course, it started out with a bang. I was super motivated, and then, I fell flat. Or I remember, when I was playing sports, I had this whole idea that I was going to work super hard during the off season, and I had this whole regiment that I was going to go through. It was not working out. I was motivated for a little bit, and then it just fell flat. When we think about having proper motivation, I think it's in balance with the resources that we have, abilities that we have to accomplish what it is that we want to accomplish. When those things align, when those things are in balance, then we can have proper motivation throughout the whole project. Now, with that said, we always are to dream big, but dream big realistically. Know your limits and know that perhaps if what you're dreaming is bigger than what your limits are, that you need to get other people involved in order to stay motivated and to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. So my second thought on motivation is things don't always have to be perfect. One thing for me that really, I think, derails my motivation is when I start sensing that I can't do something well, or it's not turning out the way I thought, or what I had wanted or what I envisioned in my mind isn't really taking place. And it really just saps all of the creative energy. And instead of digging down and pushing through that, I can often find myself just shutting down and wanting to just, not pursue it anymore because it's not turning out the way that I wanted it to turn out. A lot of that's just the perfectionism within me, and I think probably a lot of you deal with that one way or another. At the end of the day, I think we all know that things just aren't going to be perfect, yet there's something in us that wants to control and make sure that everything is turning out the exact way that we had hoped and that we envisioned. And though that's a good pursuit and worthy of pursuing, it can really derail a project and really sap motivation if you allow it to. And so for me, I need to recognize that not everything's going to go as planned, and that's okay. I can still accomplish the things that I want to accomplish and get done the things that I want to get done and stay motivated to make that happen. And closely related to that, I would say taking the first step is a big part of that process in being motivated. When I think of these YouTube videos, sometimes I have these ideas and I want to say something, and it doesn't even need to be that complex, like even this video right now. But what stopped me is I think of the whole process in one instance, and it can be overwhelming, and it makes me unmotivated to really just press record and start the process. At least it accomplishes what I set out to do, and it was all done by me taking that first step by hitting record. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on motivation. Hopefully maybe they resonated with you. Maybe they got you thinking about yourself, what it is that you need help with in motivating you. You could share your thoughts on motivation in the comments below. That could be helpful for those who watch this video. Here's to motivating you to go and accomplish the things that you want to accomplish, whatever that might be. Be motivated to get those things done. All right, see you on the next one, guys.